Hi, everyone. This is Rico Figliolini, host of Peachtree Corners Live here in the city of Peachtree Corners. We have a great guest today, Abney Harper, owner and executive chef of Sucré. Hey, Abney. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, such
Hey.
a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate that. Before we get into it, let me just say thank you to our sponsor, EV Remodeling Inc. Eli and his family who live here in Peachtree Corners, great supporter of the magazine, the podcast, the family podcast we do. So I want to thank them for being a good corporate sponsor and a great company and great community activist as well. So thank you to EV Remodeling Inc. You can check them on the website at evremodelinginc.com. Now that we've done that, Mrs. Harper, you're a former lawyer turned pastry chef, mother of six, quite a bit going on in your family. And I appreciate you joining us, by the way.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny. Before we got on, we talked a little bit about how last night was yesterday was the opening of your store location in where actually did this one open?
So right now, Sucré is a brand that was founded in New Orleans, and
Hmm.
it is we have five locations in New Orleans. We have and then we this is our we opened our first out of um, market location in
Yeah,
Atlanta in Woodstock last
Woodstock,
night.
that was it. Yes.
So yeah, our first location here in Atlanta is in Woodstock.
Cool. And for those that don't know, your company is based on a New Orleans style
Yes,
luxury pastry shop, right? You're renowned
yes,
for tell us.
yeah. So Sucre is a beautiful brand. It was founded in 2007. In New Orleans, and we have a commissary. And I am a chef, but I'm not a pastry chef. And
Ah,
so
okay.
my role in Sucre is my husband and I, with a partner and friend, bought the brand last year, and we have my role specifically in the brand is as a chief design and product officer. So my job is to make things look beautiful and taste delicious. And we have a commissary in New Orleans where we
Okay.
have three pastry chefs.
Oh well. Okay.
We have an executive pastry chef who trained who's out of Culinary Institute of America, and he is exceedingly talented. And then we have another international pastry chef who joined us recently, and
Wow.
a woman pastry chef out of Florida that helps us as well. So we have
Wow.
an incredible team and a
Sounds like it.
commissary that produces our absolutely beautiful products.
Now, and the products are, can that the stores carry?
So So we're renowned for our macarons, and so we sell macarons. We have gelato. We
Hmm.
have sorbets. We do these beautiful entremets that are pastries that are incorporate a lot of French technique, a lot of mousses and um, ganache, and they are just a feast for the eyes. And they're as beautiful as they are delicious. And then we have a whole we have a another we also sell cupcakes and madeleines and a lot just absolutely other beautiful pastries.
So what got you? You were a former lawyer that decided she wants
Yes.
to get to this business. What was that journey like? How did that come about?
Well, it's there's a thank you for the question. It's actually interesting. So I went to Tulane to law school, and my husband was actually at Tulane Law School as well, and we were classmates, which is where we met. And we were married to other people at the time. And we both went into law practice, and then we both left our law practice about the same time for the
Wow.
restaurant industry. He went in from a corporate executive route, and I went in from a chef, restaurateur, creative route.
Wow.
And both ended up at the same restaurant conference as a finance conference in Las Vegas 15 years after we graduated from law school. And we bumped
Wow.
into each other in the hallway and like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And so we re-met 15 years later, and we're both in the restaurant industry. And
Wow.
we've become business partners and now married. And so we have two very different skill sets. He's a finance restaurant growth guy, and I am a creative culinary design person. So we sort of bring we kind of fit each other very well in the restaurant space. And so
Wow.
we um we were really fortunate, and it was just serendipity that brought us to Sucré. And we were uh, friends with people, the second ownership. We befriended them, and my husband and talked to them, and they were up for selling it, and here we are now. And so we just have taken the brand, which was when we bought it was two locations in the commissary, and we have now opened up three more locations, and we have and then when we're moving out of market now into Atlanta.
Wow. The So last night you were in Woodstock. The store that we're
Yes,
talking about of Sucre is going to be opening up at the Forum here in Peachtree Corners,
yes,
which is
yes. We are
exciting.
so excited. It's a beautiful space, and we're thrilled to be there, and so we're really looking forward to it.
Cool. It's the Forum, the owners, North American Properties, they've done a great job. They're continuing to do a great job, just rebuilding and resetting up the Forum into a much more modern, contemporary feel. A place where people can hang out, actually. Families can stay
Yeah,
and not just shop and leave or and stuff. So, the whole idea is to be able to see entertainment there, eat dinner there, maybe go grab dessert somewhere, and be able to hang out there. Um,
well, we're
Inspire,
thrilled to be
yeah,
a part. We're thrilled to be a part of the forum and feel like it's an absolute natural fit and a beautiful space for Sucre.
excellent. Well, and I think you're planning, if I'm correct, three locations in Georgia, right? Um,
So yes, so we have right now we just opened Woodstock, and then we will open for the forum probably in August, September, and then also a space in Brookhaven, which will be hopefully in July.
cool. So taking over, this is only a year or two into this, right? What's your
Yes.
most memorable moment, I guess? Um, you're coming from so what were you doing before Sucre? What was the
Well,
genesis?
yeah, interestingly enough, I was in Georgia. I've lived in Georgia for about 15 years. I went to law school at Tulane,
Oh,
and then
okay.
ended up on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, for about 15 years.
Oh,
And that's where I came into the restaurant business. I opened up a couple of restaurants on St. Simon's, and in casual fine dining. That's my background. So I was a
mhm.
chef, restaurateur, in casual fine dining.
Wow. So, and pastries, how did that get fit? How did that come into play?
Well, it's interesting. My restaurant in Georgia on St. Simon's had a retail component. My business partner and I there had um, a fashion retail and a home retail, and I
Huh.
had the absolute wonderful opportunity to go on buying trips in Europe, to Milan and Paris for about 12 years when we had that business. And I just fell in love. I became a Francophile in the meantime, and just fell
Yeah.
in love with with French pastries and the macaron. And then when we just saw this opportunity with Sucre, it sort of fit perfectly for us, for my husband and me, with what we were, with what our skill sets were and what our passions were.
Yeah.
And so it's been a beautiful journey, and we feel so fortunate.
Cool. I can't wait for you all to open because when I was in Europe some years back, I'm an Italian heritage, so Italian pastries, love
Yes.
Italian pastries.
Yes.
But when we went to
Yes.
Paris, the Parisian pastry shops, completely different. So many different types of
Yeah.
variations of pastries.
Yes.
It was like eye candy. It was like a candy store
It
almost, like for
is.
someone like me. Yeah,
It really is, and that's the whole that I feel like that's the beauty of Sucre. There's a magic to it. It's a you walk in and it's really important for us in the brand to build a beautiful design space. And so
mm,
we want people to walk in and just, A, we want people to walk up and say, I want to go in there. And then when
right.
they get in there, we want people to say, I want to stay here. And then um, to see the pastries, we put our entremets usually are one of the first things you see when you walk in, and they are
Mhm.
just the most beautiful colors and shapes. And there's a mystery to it because it's you can't make them at home, and they look
Right.
they're complex and complicated to make, and everything we make is handmade and is handcrafted and is thoughtfully designed. And so that's part of what makes Sucre so special. There's not and there's nothing like it in the space. It's just a
Mm,
beautiful dessert shop where you go and everything is as beautiful to the eye as it
right.
is as delicious as it tastes.
So,
It's
so you're looking to replicate a little bit. I saw one of the videos, I think, of one of the shops, or the one of the shops in New Orleans, I guess. And you're
yes,
looking to replicate that European feel and look and charm, I guess,
yes.
of walking into
We
a
do a
place
lot
like
of
that.
The French molding, and it's
Okay,
beautiful lighting and um, um, uh, beautiful tiled floors, and so it's a beautiful space.
cool. So, will you be is the idea also to experiment with different types of pastries as well? Do you plan to introduce other product within the store?
Well, we are always wanting to grow and develop. And so
Mhm.
that's really important to the brand that we do a lot of research and development and continue to offer to our guests unique experiences. And so there's a whole creative process that goes into our products and what we design and develop. So we are, um, we will um, the, always protect the integrity of the brand. There are certain standards we require, but we are
Sure,
very open to new products and constantly wanting to introduce um, thoughtfully important products to our brand.
sure, sure. And the commissary that you mentioned before, that's where all the product is made, though, all the pastries and macarons and
Yes,
stuff, right? And then shipped to
yes,
the
yes,
individual locations. That's a great way of keeping
correct.
quality and consistency, I think, from store to store.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, as far as the forum and this area, I mean, we're uh, sure people are excited. There's always a curiosity about what's coming and stuff. Um, and
Yes.
you're going to be hiring obviously locally and stuff for that. What do you find challenging as an entrepreneur going into a space like this? Because I got to imagine even every location that opens its own individual challenges. But
Yes.
what have you found to be challenges over the last year or so of doing this?
Well, growing pains hurt, right? Like
Yes, I would
you,
imagine.
there's a reason why they're called growing pains. They're wonderful to have, but they're painful to work through. So, it's to to um to us, it challenge that my husband has built a career on scaling restaurants, and he's scaled them internationally. So, for him, he's sort of seen and he's sort of been the architect of our growth plan. And so I've done more of the following of that plan. And so for me, this was my first time foray into an out of state opening for and scaling a brand.
Yeah,
And for him, he's a veteran at it. And so for me, watching the process, seeing the logistics of getting something out of state, and operating
mm,
something remotely, that to
yeah,
me has been an interesting challenge. And so making sure the product gets there safely, making sure
Right.
that you're working, you're building out the space to the specifics that the brand requires, and doing it all
Right.
from far away. That to me has been challenging, but it's been we've been really fortunate. It's gone very smoothly for us.
Cool. Has the city been
And I
able
have
to?
to, and I have to say,
Go ahead.
um, Georgia and Atlanta and Woodstock specifically have been, from a business standpoint, from an entrepreneur, they have been
Mhm.
very welcoming and helpful, and have put up very few barriers that we felt like we've had to get through to open. We've been so thankful for that and really appreciative.
Yeah, I can understand how that could be. That can mess people up. Some companies sometimes, if CFO doesn't get issued when it's supposed to, or health checks don't
Right,
don't occur the right way. The fact that you don't really have a kitchen to work with got to be a little easier, but you still have to go through inspections and such, storage of product and all
right,
that. Yeah.
correct.
How's it been working with Peachtree Corners? Have you had any necessary interactions with the city or for the look? Well,
So we're in
actually,
the
you
early
all, yeah, you're at the early stages right now, right?
we're at the early stages
Yeah,
right now. So we're
yeah.
still working on finalizing our plans, and
Okay,
then we're very close to finishing that, and then we'll be on to the licensing and
right, right.
construction.
Okay. And you all do so. What's your future plans? I mean, obviously, you must have an idea of where your runway's heading, if you will, on this.
Yeah. So um, the this opening in Woodstock has gone very, very smoothly, and
Hmm.
we are excited about it. And so check that box. We've gotten out of market,
Right.
and we're really proud of our team, and thankful
Good.
for the way that this has gone. And so for us, we right now we're working on 3 locations in Atlanta. We would, we're open to more locations in Atlanta as well. There's the ones
Mm,
that we have um, locked down for now.
okay.
And then we'll move into Houston. And so
Right.
we'll be selective in the cities we go to, but we're looking to grow
Okay.
to a multi-unit brand, probably 10 to 15 locations,
Okay.
pretty soon, and potentially doing a very selective franchise offering.
Okay, I did notice that. So these stores are actually corporate owned, but you do
These are
have
corporate
possible,
owned, yes.
okay, and you do have possible franchise opportunities maybe.
Yeah, we
Uh,
do. It's we're considering how to handle the franchise offering at this point. We're
mhm.
sort of looking at more of like a Chick-fil-A offering, where we're just very selective of
Right.
who we franchise to, and
Hmm.
also the markets that in which we franchise.
Right. I mean, there's so many various ways to do that. I mean, it could be franchise developer that then takes on developing the individual franchises, or it could be like Kinko's used to when they expanded, they did part corporate owned, part local investors owned. Um, that's how they
Yes,
expanded quickly,
yes.
you know.
For
So
sure. And
yeah,
that's where we are in the process of considering what's the best way to grow the brand and maintain the integrity of the brand.
sure, sure. Do do the kids get an opportunity to do some taste testing? Are any of them interested in becoming part of the
Yes,
business?
they do. And in fact, 2 of our daughters are here helping with the opening of Woodstock. So
Oh wow,
our
okay.
children all work in our businesses as well.
Sounds good. Do you plan
Yes.
on going back to Paris at any point soon? To
Oh, I always hope to go back to Paris soon. It's no plans right now. More trips to Atlanta in the future than to Paris, but no, but it's important for us to travel and to see and to experience, and that's part of the whole um, creative process of our of Sucré and developing products. So No specific plans, but soon we hope to.
All right, cool. Um, Anything that I've missed so far that you'd like to share about your experience of doing this? And this is new. This is, just a lead off of what you're doing on this. You're only a year or two
Yeah,
into
well,
this.
I guess the only thing I would add is that I we are really excited about introducing Sucre outside of the New Orleans market, and we're really thrilled that Atlanta is the city that we've chosen to do it. And I feel like it's there's nothing there's people often ask us who our competitors are, and
Mm,
there isn't really a competitor. There's not. We're just such a unique
yeah.
brand. I remember the first time I saw Sucre. I lived in New Orleans in my 20s, and then I left and lived in Georgia for most of my adult life, and then came back to New Orleans in my 40s. Um, and I remember in my 20s, I was driving down Magazine Street, which is our original
Mm,
location, and it was dusk, and my head, like I saw it, I caught it out of the corner of my eye in the car, and my head was on a swivel, and I just whipped around, and I was like, "What is that?"
mhm,
And I'd never seen anything like it. And I was literally asked the person in the traffic, like, please turn around. I want to go back and see that. And then the next day we went in, and it was my first time to see Sucre. And the founder of Sucre
mhm,
is just an absolute genius. He did such a beautiful job with the brand, and
mhm,
it's been and I want people to have that exact same reaction that I had the first time I saw
mm,
it of, oh my gosh, I have to go in there. And then once I went in there, I thought I have to go back. And it's just such a special place. And I'm thrilled that we are bringing this to Atlanta. And the other thing I'll tell you is that um, I'm not a New Orleanian. My husband is New Orleanian, and it's in his blood. And for
uh,
me, it's something that I just fell in love with when I moved to New Orleans. And I love the blend of the Romantic cultures. There's a Spanish and a French and an Italian
mhm,
um, rich history in New Orleans. And to
sure.
me, Sucre's not so much like our food offerings aren't really like they aren't New Orleans and sort of a traditional like when you think of jambalaya or
Mhm,
you think of traditional New Orleans dishes. Um, but what we capture is the essence of New Orleans. That sort of blend of the Romantic cultures, and
mhm,
there's a subtle sophistication to it, and I am thrilled that Sucre is growing outside of New Orleans because I feel like it has I feel like it's a great opportunity for guests to just
yeah.
and take a moment and enjoy something special, and we do, in my opinion, the most beautiful and delicious king cake in the New Orleans market. And
Yeah.
as not being a New Orleanian, I didn't understand king cakes. Yeah, I didn't
Uh-huh.
understand like um the and it is so for me, and this the exportation of Sucre is that I feel like Atlanta and the cities that we go to, we ship nationwide our king cakes, but to be able to
Mhm.
walk into a Sucre and buy a king cake during king cake season, we buy five a week,
Oh, wow.
and so I'm thrilled for Atlanta to be able to just walk into their neighborhood Sucre and pick up a king cake during king cake season. It's a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I'm, you know, the idea of I haven't been to New Orleans, but having been to Charleston and Savannah and the old cities like that. Some
Yes.
of the stuff you don't get that same feeling in a newer place like a suburban area like Peachtree Corners. So
Right.
to be able to have a
Yeah.
shop come in that can give that feeling, that romantic
Yes.
feeling when you walk through the doors, um, is going to be different for sure, because it's not
Yes.
normal here to do that. So definitely it'd be
For
a nice
sure.
footprint to have.
Well, let me stop you right there and
Yeah.
insist that you come see us. You must come see us, and you must come visit Sucré when you come. We'll take you on a tour of all the stores in the commissary. We'd love for you to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm literally 5 minutes around the corner from the forum, so I'll be out there. Um, I'm always out there,
Great.
so yeah. But so this was great, Abney, to be able to talk to you about Sucre and about your journey and being able to bring this to Atlanta and specifically to the forum here in Peachtree Corners. So I want to thank you for coming out. If anyone wants to find out a little bit more um, about Sucre, they can visit your website, which is what is the website at this point?
It's shopsucre.com.
There you go. Okay. I was just going to
And
pull
we
that up.
also invite, and we our Instagram is Sucre New Orleans, and our
Excellent.
website is currently we're launching a new website in the next couple of weeks, so it'll be a beautifully reconstructed website coming soon.
Excellent. If anyone has any questions, you can put it in the comments. You're probably either listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or on Facebook or YouTube. So certainly when this stream's out there, leave your comments, your questions, and we'll get back to you. And I'll have some of these links in the show notes as well. So, Abney Harper, thank you for being with us. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for sharing all this great stuff about what's coming.
Rico, thank you so much for having me and letting
Sure.
and giving me the opportunity to share about Sucre. Thank you so much.
Sure. Hang in there for a second. Everyone else, thanks again. And thank you to evremodelinginc.com for supporting our publications, our family of podcasts, and for being a good community member. So thank you all.